Yo, welcome back to Six Pennies Podcast. We got all six pennies here today.
What's
and,
up? What's up?
It's
Is this guy drunk or what?
No, not yet. I'm trying to get through this real quick so I can go play some pickup basketball.
Me too.
But that's a good segue into our question for today. If you guys don't know already, it's Thursday, which means it's Pocket Change Thursday. I usually usually explain what that means, but kind of in a hurry, and it's our fifth one, so I think you should know by now. But today's question comes to us from Maxwell Lee. He asked what the top 3 cardinal sins of pickup basketball are. This is a topic that I think is pretty interesting for all three of us. We all love pickup basketball, I think, especially I think that's one of the main reasons why White Man Can't Jump is on all of our top 10 sports movies of all time. And I think it's something that we all still play today, if I'm not mistaken. Well, how about you guys? How often do you guys play pickup basketball? When's the last time you played?
For me, I play about like 2-3 times a week. There are some weeks where I may only play once.
Jeez.
But then there are other weeks where I play like 4 or 5 days in a row. So it just
Respect.
depends. And
What?
yeah, it's a lot of icing afterwards, and then also cryotherapy. Check it out.
Timmy, what about you?
I have a question. By pickup basketball, are you talking about where it's completely with random people, or could it also be with just your friends and getting random teams together?
And either or.
Okay.
Pickup basketball meaning just non-organized basketball.
Got it, okay.
Not league.
Okay, so in that case, actually, either way, I don't play pickup basketball. I hurt myself. I hurt myself 3 months ago.
Oh yeah, you're still hurt.
4 months ago, I had a really bad ankle sprain, and that was my first time playing in a couple months already, and I just fell down like in the first 10 minutes, and it was bad for a while. It turned out I tore a ligament, but it's fine, healing on its own, and felt pretty good yesterday. I actually went to the gym and shot around by myself, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll be ready to go again.
Dang, you're like
Very good.
our version of Steph Curry.
What does that mean?
You know, ankle problems, but shooting in the gym by yourself. That's hard, man.
Man, so that means you guys both hate me then, right?
I'm a Steph Curry fan now, by the way.
You switched?
Yeah, I think too many people hate him, so I'm gonna start reverting back.
Okay, so many
Okay, of
phases.
course.
Oh
Of
gosh,
course.
here we go again.
Instigator.
But yeah, so pickup basketball, it's near and dear to all of our hearts. Like I said, if not now, we definitely played a ton back in college. I'd say minimum maybe 8 hours a week, 8 to 10 hours a week back in college. That's probably on the low end, and that's probably the reason why all of our body is going to fall apart in the next probably 5 to 10 years. But on that note, we're going to go through each of our top 3. So we're going to have 9 total cardinal sins of pickup basketball. First one for me, I hate it when it's really packed at the gym, which it probably is right now. I'm going to go later. And since it's spring break, so I hate when someone shows up when it's like 3 down. You've been waiting for like 2 games already. One of the games took like 45 minutes. And then this guy just shows up when it's 3 down and he tries to take your next. And we're going to list out NBA counterparts for each of these cardinal sins too. So for me, that is the definition of Draymond Green. Do you guys agree? Timmy, what do you think?
I guess that's fine. I actually didn't really understand your one listed here. I feel like that's Russell Westbrook, right? Like he's going to show up and just start talking to everybody and just saying he's up next. He'll probably just start playing anyway. That's my guy.
It's because Timmy shoots by himself, so he doesn't get to play when it's 3 down.
Albert, what do you think then?
Why do you think it's Draymond Green? I'm curious.
I just think he's that kind of jerk. So I see the Russell Westbrook thing, but I think Russell Westbrook is talented enough. So if he showed up at the gym, someone would pick him up in the next game anyway. Draymond Green, no one's picking him up either way. So he has to go in and try to steal someone's next.
Jeez.
I think it has to be LeBron. I mean, even though I love LeBron, I think he is like so pretentious and he thinks he's so, the chosen one, VIP enough that he can just show up whenever and act as if like the court is his. So I would say it's LeBron. Yeah, so the reason why I'm a big Steph Curry fan now apparently is, the Warriors, they just play the right way. They pass the ball, they share the ball. My biggest pet
Yes.
peeve in basketball, especially like in pickup basketball, is like all the people out there who think they're Kobe Bryant. They just never pass the ball. They're huge black holes. Even if like you have the ball, they're just standing at the 3-point line calling for it, and they're not playing defense. Like it's really, really annoying. And to me, that's gotta be today's version of Russell Westbrook. What about you guys?
What?
I
What
mean,
about what about Russell Westbrook's ex teammate Dion Waiters? I think there's an actual like video of him doing that exact thing you just mentioned. The other guy has the ball. Is either last year, but is either Durant or Westbrook with the ball ISO'd at the top on the wing, and Dion Waiters is literally at the top of the key, like calling for the ball, and then finally he's just frustrated and like puts his hands up.
There's multiple videos like that, and he's not at the top of the key. He's like 28 feet away from the basket. And there's one there when it's Westbrook Durant, and then the year before there's one where it's LeBron dribbling, and then LeBron just kind of looks and shakes his head at him. It's amazing.
But
I like Waiters
28
too,
feet
but
for 28 feet for Dion Waiters is like a layup now, though.
that's true. I like Waiters for this too, but this year I think with Waiters doing so well, I think it's Joel Embiid, because he was a black hole this year. He played like 25 minutes a game and his usage rate was like off the charts.
Through the roof, or the ceiling is the roof.
But he knows. Well, the thing with Embiid is he's really talented, and he knows he's on a minutes restriction, and he knows it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt again. So he has to, get his money's worth.
I guess that's fair. Well, one big pickup sin that I really hate is the guy that either calls a foul every single time
they get
it, or they just never think there's a foul at all. It's got to be a Clipper for me. You can pick whichever one, Doc Rivers even, but it's probably Chris Paul.
Chris Paul is pretty bad. I think even in his prime, he's worse now. I mean they're both around the same age, but I think it's Dwayne Wade. Like I think he never thinks he does anything wrong, and he's like pretty dirty on defense. He'll like push you while you're shooting a jump shot, or whatever he does, but he never thinks he's in the wrong. So for me, it's Dwayne Wade.
Still bitter about 2006.
That's what I was gonna say. I see your D Wade, and I raise you a Dwight Howard. I think this is just after seeing him in a Rockets uniform, and he was like, you could count on him for 2 offensive fouls or 2 away from the ball fouls a game. And he's a big guy. He just doesn't know his strength, or he doesn't realize that, shoving someone out of the way, even if you're trying to gain position, is a foul. So that's it for me. But yeah, that kind of segues into our next point. Speaking of not being able to control your limbs, and my next pickup basketball sin is when we all know the type. Like the guy, right when you see him play, he's like, basketball isn't his first sport. Maybe not even his second sport or third sport. It's a guy who's really athletic, maybe, really built, really big, but he's clearly a football player. So he's going to try to run through you. He's going to travel a couple of times, forget the dribble. This is a guy who just can't control his limbs to the effect where you're scared you're going to get hurt trying to guard him, or even when you're on the same team. Anytime you're on the same court, really. So for me, this is Corey Brewer in a nutshell.
This one was really, really easy for me, and he's the only player where you're required to wear a cup, and that's freaking Draymond Green, because you don't know if you're gonna get kicked in the nether regions or not. Like, it has to be Draymond Green. Who else should it be?
Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't thinking of it that way. I was just thinking of the guy who's always out of control. And the first thing that popped in mind was Austin Rivers a couple of years ago in the playoffs, like trying to go behind his back on a fast break and just tumbling through like he was a bowling ball. Like that guy, seriously, he didn't know what he was doing. He's a little better now, though, I guess.
No, he's not.
Man, you guys hate the Clippers.
I hate the Clippers, yes.
I love the Clippers and the Warriors.
All right.
You've changed overnight.
All right, so next one I really, really hate, but it's very prevalent in pickup ball. Actually, I think it's a definition of 2017 pickup ball nowadays is all these really tall, athletic guys just standing around in the perimeter and shooting threes. They never post up, they never really rebound or block shots. They're just there playing like a guard game, and the NBA equivalent to that for me is Porzingis.
Ooh, he's actually pretty good though. And we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he's still actually contributing in other ways too, including blocks and stuff, on the other end. But I feel you. That's the thing I hate most about the new NBA. Just everyone just kind of stands on the 3-point line, and that's for me. That's the Rockets' $20 million man, Ryan Anderson. I love him. I love him when his shot is on, but when it's off, like there's no part of his game that he can turn to when his shot is off.
Isn't that the whole Houston team though? They just stand on the 3-point line.
Yeah, but Ryan Anderson is like 6'10", and he doesn't rebound. So we're paying him not the most. I think Harden's still getting paid the most, but he's getting paid $20 million to really just stand around and wait for the ball from Harden.
I thought Ryan Anderson is only making like $19 million or something. That's okay, right?
Okay, if it's under 20, it's okay then.
Well, I was thinking. I mean, Ryan Anderson's been doing this his whole career, though. I'm thinking of the guy that was good inside, got a ton of rebounds, and now just steps outside and shoots threes all the time. I mean, that's somebody like Brook Lopez or Kevin Love nowadays, right?
Oh, nice.
Kevin Love probably the last couple of years, but Brook Lopez this year went from shooting like, I don't know, he made like 2 threes his whole career or something, and now he makes like 2 per game.
Yeah, he's shooting a ton, like 6 per game or something.
Yeah, that guy's crazy.
Who?
Brook Lopez.
Brooklyn Nets.
He shoots 6 threes a game?
He shoots a ton.
Like 1.8 or something. It's on my fantasy team, killing it.
Dirk shoots 6 threes like a week. That's crazy.
Dirk should shoot a lot more threes. He's the one tall guy. I mean, like I said, I think if they're good at shooting and have done it for a long time, might as well just stick with it.
Yeah, maybe if Dirk shot more threes, he'd be at 40K now, but instead of 30.
Wow.
If we're talking about like historical players, it has to be that one.
Sam Perkins.
Yeah, Sam Perkins, the lefty. It has to be that guy.
Yeah, I was thinking about him too. Those Sonics teams, they really could have used him inside.
Well, we also hated those Sonics teams, me and Timmy.
That's true. All right, my next one is pretty similar to the previous one I said. It's the guy who's still complaining. He's still complaining about fouls. He's complaining, saying that the ball's out on the other side, even when it's really clear he touched it last. It's probably still the Clippers.
Yeah.
But I kind of think of Kevin Garnett. Like, wasn't he always complaining about that stuff? Like yelling at the refs and just saying it's out on somebody else? KG?
For me, this person not only complaining about, out calls being out and stuff like that, but he's making up the score the whole time too. And so to me, it's back to Draymond Green. I could really put him all the way down, all 9 on this list, but he deserves this one right here.
Do you hate Draymond Green because he's so good?
Oh gosh, where's it? Okay, hold on, real quick, time out. Are you still a Rockets fan for the year?
Yeah, I'm still a Rockets fan. I mean, Draymond Green can't hold Houston, but I'm just saying, like he's like he's a Swiss Army knife.
Like, but I mean, it's one thing to go from hating Steph Curry to not hating Steph Curry, but you're going full circle for the whole like Warriors squad now.
All right. Anyways, for me, it's a Clipper. This one's for you, Timmy. But I've seen DeAndre Jordan like block shots or like tip balls out of bounds and then just start running to the other side of the court. Like he does that maybe like 2-3 times a month, and then he'll have to run back.
DeAndre Jordan is probably my least hated Clipper. I don't. He's just guilty by association, really, for me. I can't stand.
That's because he's from Houston.
No, JJ Redick still has a lot of leftover hate from the Duke days.
Oh man, his podcast is good.
Oh, maybe I need to check that out sometime. But yeah, so the next one, I think this is number 7 on the list. So this is when we know, pickup basketball. We're not playing a timed game, right? It's not 12-minute quarters. We're playing to a certain number of points. So whether it be 21 points or 30 points per game, this is the guy who, when the other team has the ball and they need a 3 and a 3 only to win the game, this is the guy who like backs up and gives up the open 3 and loses the game for you. And to me, this is brings back shades of Rasheed Wallace in Game 5 of the 2005 NBA Finals.
Man, good memory.
Yeah, Pistons versus. I had this ingrained in my head, mainly because it was one of Robert Horry's greatest games. But Game 5, 2005 NBA Finals, series is tied 2-2. Pivotal game, obviously. Normally, whoever wins this Game 5 wins the series, wins the championship. Sheed and the Pistons are up by 2 with under 10 seconds left. Horry is inbounding, passes into the corner, Ginobili. Sheed, for some reason or other, goes to double team Ginobili and leaves Big Shot Bob wide open for the game winner.
Man.
Speaking of Ginobili, though, I was thinking of that Mavs series where there was down 2. Yeah, and then Nowitzki goes to the hole and Ginobili fouled him.
Oh, the foul.
The one thing you couldn't do, and he did it.
I was also thinking of the opposite. It's when you're playing pickup and you only need a 2 to win, but the guy shoots a 3 anyway.
I love doing that.
I was about to say the only guy I can think of is Albie.
Yeah, I love doing that because to set it up, I love getting the ball when it's like point. So I usually call for a pick, and then when it's only a 2 that is needed, everyone just goes under that pick. Everybody. And so I don't even take the pick. I just shoot it right on top of the pick from 3. And I've done that. I do that like every game. It's awesome.
I mean, we forgot to include one of the cardinal sins is the guy who always calls for picks. Who calls for picks all the time playing pickup, man?
Hey, fundamentals.
Okay, so right. Yeah, so to go back on like giving, the one thing you can't do is give up a 3, but you end up giving a 3. This is by far my biggest pet peeve in pickup basketball. Like you can add up all the other cardinal sins. Yeah, multiply it by 30, and this is like still number 1 on my list. And yeah, this just annoys me. Just talking about it just annoys me. So I'm gonna skip on to the next one. I mean, in pickup and in the NBA, you have guys who like just dribble the ball all the time, and then you have the other 4 guys just watching that player. And we see that all the time. Like I said earlier, with like all the different guys who think they're Kobe Bryant. For me in the NBA, the equivalent has to be Carmelo Anthony. Like the New York Knicks, actually, their offense is not that bad with Melo on the bench because they're actually passing the ball and playing the triangle. But when he gets it, there's like no triangle at all. It's just like a 1-4 isolation, and it's just Melo.
Yeah, it's Melo until he finally decides to pull up for the 18-footer that he could have taken the whole time. For me, it's Steve Francis. Gonna throw back to old school pinstripe Rockets jerseys with Steve franchise. I loved him when he was here, but man, he dribbled a ton, and it didn't really get him anywhere. He would just end up taking the same drive or taking the same shot that he could have gotten the whole time.
But he has one of the greatest like NBA highlights ever when he took that guy, he beat him like 3 or 4 times, and then he would just back it out again, beat him up again, and then like do the really, really hard floater.
Was that Antonio Daniels or something?
Something like that. But each time he got him on a move, he would like look over to the bench and be like, "I got him."
Yeah, he's like the NBA version of NBA Jam. You get points for doing some tricks, and then finally, when the shot clock's running down, you take a floater.
I also think of Harden from last year, thinking of the Rockets, just dribbling while everyone's waiting around. But I was thinking when you brought this up, I kind of also think of the guy who's not just dribbling and waiting to shoot, but who's like trying to direct traffic and tell people to, set picks or cut and stuff. I thought of Mark Jackson. I don't know why. I just have like a visual
player coach.
Of him just like trying to direct the floor all the time. I mean, he's great at assists, but I don't know why I just see him like pointing at everybody.
Hand down, man down. What was it again? Hand down, man down?
Hand down, man down. Yeah. All right, last one. Pickup basketball sin number 9. The guy who tries to draw a charge. Like, who does that playing pickup? Luckily I don't, but my hero does. The man, the myth, the legend, Shane Battier. If he was playing pickup, he'd be getting charges every time down the floor, right?
Yeah. I was going to try to make an argument for Maurice Spates, who I can't stand, or Urian Ilyasova, who leads the league this year in charges taken, but I gotta go with Shane too. I love him. I miss him.
For me, the NBA players that really annoyed me, and I mean, I was a fan of this guy, but JJ Barea and then also Derek Fisher. I think they always play like the little man card. So they're both like short,
It's
but they're
true.
both
Yeah.
really stocky and strong. So that they can actually hold their position, but then like after like 3 or 4 dribbles, they'll just like fall 3 feet behind them, and it's like, really, that happened.
Fisher's a good one. I forgot about him. Solid.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Turns out this is so we listed 9 top Cardinals sense pick of basketball, but it also could have been like our most hated NBA players list. Might double as that. We'll see. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. If you can, please throw us a like on Facebook at Six Pennies Podcast and subscribe to us on YouTube.